Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Welcome to the Unsigned Showcase. Thanks for kicking your week off with a Monday grind. We got another 10 bands to give a spin today, so let's just get straight into it. We're going to kick off with these great guys, Wormrot. This is an outburst of Annoyance live at TNT Studios. Here we go. Cool. Love a little studio vid like this where you actually get a good sound and a good recording, but a live performance as well. Very, very dope. We saw these guys last week. We're going to see them again because we've got some more vids in the channel, in the queue. Sorry for these guys. They're dope. HORSEBASTARD, just a short one at 40 seconds. God knows how you say that word. Here we go. Always with the eyes.
Heavy that lot.
Dope. Yeah, these are a sick band. Just a crazy band, you know, just kind of total mathcore, kind of crazy core. Sounding dope though. Love it. This is a dope band. Goetia, I think how you say it. Crisis Apparition is the name of the video. This is a longer one though. Give it a spin.
Dungeons, curses, skeletons and iron maidens.
Killer. Man, what an energy in this one. Every week we just get treated to the sickest bands, the top level musicianship, the dopest drummers in the world are on this channel every single week. Amazing guitarists and bassists as well, the harshest vocalists, no cleans, no messing about. Just absolutely ripping through their mics, every single one of them. Amazing, loved it. This is a cool band, King Parrot. This one's called Look Away, I'm Hideous. Here we go. What a great video, man. We get some great animated videos out, the grind bands as well. Love that one. Yeah, super dope, man. I watched that show Botched. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Women need to chill out on injecting themselves with silicone. This one's called Zoebeast with a track called Racoonacore. Here we go. In this one. Yeah, very nice mix on this one. You could hear the bass the whole time rumbling away with a great tone. Sounded awesome. This is a new band to the channel, I think. The Queen Guillotined. They've got Holy Rejection. Let's give it a spin. Love that Ibanez bass. Man, these are an interesting band. Not really quite sure what you'd pin them down to in terms of naming them as one particular genre, because they got a bunch of stuff going on in there. There's a grind edge to this stuff. There's a deathcore edge to this stuff. There's a blackened edge in the vocals there, all high-pitched and fry. There's a hardcoreness to it as well, and kind of a beat-downy edge to it. So, man, a load of different stuff going on. Cool video as well to see them all in the band and see their gear and stuff, which was dope. And a nice, heavy, like, harshness to the sound. Like, guitars were kind of crunchy and sharp. Sounded dope. Really cool. Hopefully see them again more in the future. So another new band to the channel, I think. Like Heaven, I think is the name of the band. The track is called Fiction. Here we go. Oh, we're getting some sick bass tone. Yeah, interesting sound to this one, really bass forward. Nice one. Oh. Just a little bit more on that one. Yeah, another one, totally different mix to every other band that we're going to hear today. Really bass forward, loads of distortion and stuff on the bass, but everything else sat behind the bass. The vocal, the guitars were kind of side, but to the back a little bit as well. And really scooped as well to leave space for all that bass tone. Sounded absolutely great, and just a different kind of style of mix on the ears. Love to hear it. Here's some ones from our friends' poorly crafted music videos. This is a Screamo Scrams band, To Be Gentle, Blue Apple Garden. Here we go. Cool video as well. Love it. It's still going. You never know when this one's going to end. I, for one, personally would absolutely love for emos, screamos, scrams and all of that stuff, mathcore, jangly hardcore and all that kind of chaotic hardcore stuff. I would absolutely love for that to come back round with a new vigor, with all the new mixes and stuff, with the extra loudness that we didn't have back in the day, but just with some more modern edges to it as well. Maybe bringing in some more kind of like atmosphere and posty stuff as well, which is really great in this kind of music. Not all just hardcore and loud, but then breaking into some more emotional sections, some synthy sections, stuff like that. So maybe just modernize it in that way, although we did get some of that back in the day as well. But just to bring back the whole screamo scrams vibe, you know, it would work in today's music and today's kind of, you know, what's going on in the world with all the emotions that are going around at the moment. So I think it would work in that way. And I'd just love to hear that energy and that emotion coming back through the music. That was a really great time because everyone was just going off in the band. The vocalists were really, really passionate about what they were doing, which was great. But all the rest of the members of the band were trying to do something different and think outside the box and just be cool in a different way. Loved that time. Really great time of music. Here's another one from the Poorly Crafted Music Videos. Dissordawtisms is how you say that, I think. Wasted Potentiality. Here we go. This is some magic. Yeah. Dope. Mathcore never took off as hard as it should have. It's one of the dopest kind of genres out there, the sickest style of music, and it just never really got anywhere. I think there's about 10 mathcore bands knocking around today. When you look at Mathcore Index and stuff, it's always just the same post of the same bands going round and around again. Again, we need another kind of this stuff coming around with a modern edge, with a modern mix and some new ideas slapped into there. But mathcore, again, yeah, definitely a genre that didn't get fully realized and didn't get rinsed out in the way that it should have, because it's just one of the sickest ones. Now, this one is one of mine that I did on Thursday, a track that I wrote on Thursday. It's only a quick short one at 44 seconds long, but I was listening to Yards and they just really inspired me to make a quick track, and I did it in about an hour, and then I made the mix and the video in about another hour on top of that as well. So it's really, really short. But before we get into this one, I want to mention today, because there's no bass in my track, it's just octave down guitars. Today, we've really been treated with the bass guitar. Almost every single band has had an absolutely wicked bass tone, front of the mix, push forward, not just the root of the guitars, not just a clean bass tone that's kind of, you know, doesn't get in the way of the distortion of the guitars and stuff, all those kind of tropes from the past. No, right up front, distorted, heavy, loud, in your ears bass tones, sections as well where you just break down to the bass and just hear that, and you know, it's such a big tone that it's enough to fill out the sound and make you pull a stank face and all the rest of it. And that really couldn't be said very much at all in the past. And for us to have spun a bunch of bands today, most of the bands today, to have that really thick, solid bass tone in the mix with a deep grizzle on it as well, and just add an extra layer of heaviness to this music, you got to give it a shout out, because it's a thing that wasn't a thing in the past and now is, and I very much appreciate it. So shout out to all the bassists out there who never get enough love. They're always the last one in the band to get the girlfriend or the, you know, the girls on the road or whatever. But yeah, it's, you know, the bassist is really coming through, shining through this type of music nowadays, and it's just made it absolutely heavier than ever. Here's one from me, Micro Colossal. I did it all myself, just rinsing away on the guitars and then sung into a mic with a load of distortion and a load of that crap. It's only 44 seconds long, but it's got a nice energy, I think, so I thought we'd give it a spin on today and finish off today. Hope you've had a good day, guys. That's it from me. Here we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. I like the sound on the guitars of this. What I did on this one to get that kind of sound on the guitars is used a almost clean, crunchy amp with a distorted amp kind of in the background, so you get that jangle, you get that crunch from the kind of more cleaner guitars, but you still get the backup of the distortion and the thickness in the background from another layer of distorted guitars. So if you're thinking about making some music and you want more jangle in your guitars, think about bringing a more cleaner or more crunchy guitar tone through the mix as well, and then have the distorted stuff more as a background backup thickener, and that lets you get that jangle through, but still with nice thick guitars as well. It's a cool way to do it. Kind of get that P90 sound on your pickups. So I hope you've enjoyed that today, guys. That's it from me. 10 bands to check out, including myself. That's not anywhere you can check it out just yet, because it hasn't even got a name, that track, but I'm thinking about just putting a short EP together, so once that's ready, I'll put it out and you can check that out if you want to. But we haven't got anything else lined up just yet this week. I'm working on an album for some guys on Fiverr, which is pretty cool. Maybe we'll give that a spin on the channel as well at some point. But that's it from me today. So we'll see you again next week. Hope you have a good week. Hope you've enjoyed the bands today. Give it a like and all that jazz. We'll see you around. Cheers. Bye.